Well, every time I think to myself that, oh yeah, I miss going to the movie theaters, Netflix tells me, no, you don't. Here I am. Come watch me. Hi there, folks. Welcome back to Rich Reviews, and it's the latest Netflix film here, and it's The Five Bloods. And I know everyone has been talking about this film. Currently, I watched this film just recently, and I just saw Jeremy John's review, and he clearly had a good time watching this. This was originally designed as a vehicle for Oliver Stone that originally was going to star white actors, and obviously Oliver Stone dropped the project, and then Spike Lee came aboard. He brought along with him his writer for BlacKkKlansman and changed, obviously, the color of the soldiers. And wham bam boom, we have our film. Now the film opens with a montage of the late 60s. Muhammad Ali basically saying, no Viet Cong, as they're called me, and a nasty racial epithet. And Angela Davis, claiming that fascism is going to come to America, and then a couple more people basically saying, yes, this is an excuse to kill off the black folk. Obviously, there's a whole lot of Marvin Gaye, because who doesn't love Marvin Gaye? And obviously, we see a plane splashing Agent Orange all over the countryside. And of course, we then come to modern day Ho Chi Minh City, where four soldiers in arms, in the form of Delroy Lindo, Clark Peters, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., and one other guy that I have never even heard of, come for twofold reasons. One is to find the remaining squad platoon leader, played by Chadwick Boseman, and I'll get to Chadwick Boseman here in a minute. Also, to find some gold that they left behind. Now here's the thing, let me just state that I think Spike Lee has always been a very fascinating filmmaker. Even in his early days, he was the angry young black man guy, and how he was always having something to say. Of course, his early 2000s years, he really didn't have anything to say at all. I mean, I was not a fan of Inside Man. I was not a fan of The Battle of Santa Ana. I didn't see She Hate Me. I didn't care for 25th Hour. With BlacKkKlansman, he's back on top actually saying something, and saying something with a vengeance. That vengeance is in the form of Delroy Lindo, and what a performance that he gives. And yes, we all tend to believe that, yes, soldiers who fought in the Vietnam War were not heralded as heroes, particularly black soldiers. How Hanoi Hannah basically was saying to them on the radio, why are you fighting here when your own country doesn't respect you to begin with? Now, there are three different aspect ratios. One is like this for the Ho Chi Minh City scenes in modern day, and how basically in group conversation they blast the Rambo films and the Chuck Norris films. Then there's the flashback scenes that are like this. And now one thing interesting idea that Spike Lee has here is that he doesn't cast younger actors for the adult actors. Basically, there's Chadwick Boseman and all these four other actors doing the war scenes, which I think, wow, that's actually quite interesting. The widescreen for the modern day in the jungle scenes. And then also we have Delroy Lindo's son, who clearly is worried about his father. And Delroy Lindo really should deserve a best, I don't know how you would classify this, either supporting or lead. But clearly, yes, this thing takes on a Treasure of Sierra Madre vibe. It's basically Apocalypse Now for a whole lot of reasons, and how Delroy Lindo, this is a guy that really feels like he has been left behind by society. And he wears a MAGA hat. He probably wears that MAGA hat. One person's like, you vote for President Bone Spurs, It's obviously, granted, we've always known that Spike Lee's politics is never subtle, and so he has President Bone Spurs in clip footage. And of course, we do meet two other supporting characters. One is a scheming Frenchman played by Jean Reno, and it's always interesting seeing Jean Reno in a film. Then we meet Clark Peters' mistress. She has a daughter, and how he finds out that this girl is his kid is sort of it hit him like a ton of bricks. He communicates that as like, yeah, he obviously wonders about her parentage, and her mother is like, look, I raised you, I'm your mother, I'm your parent. He has a nice rapport with this French woman who, her family built their fortune on rubber and other things. And she clearly turned her back on that family fortune to basically get rid of the mines that still are indeed a problem in Vietnam. I know there are a lot of people out there who just cannot sit through a 2.5-hour film. I know there are people out there last year that complained about the running length of, The Irishman. I say those people, get over that. I also like to point out there's one very fascinating scene where literally sometimes people cannot turn it off. Delroy Lindo's character cannot turn everything off. Once you've been in battle, it is a very slippery slope that you have a hard time turning what you experienced off at all. Then, of course, this thing turns into a heist thing in the last hour or so. And a lot of people are like, really, that's strange. I mean, there's literally one scene where I thoroughly predicted, oh yeah, this one thing is going to happen to this one character. And let me confess, I swear I laughed, even though what happened to this character is tragic. I still laughed, and I acknowledge that I have a perverse sense of humor. So in the end, folks, what I'm going to say about The Five Bloods, this is a thoroughly engaging film about how Vietnam left a scar on us all, and how the younger generations, particularly probably in Vietnam, are still dealing with that. And so I'm going to say I'm going to give this a leave work early. So folks, The Five Bloods, have you seen this? What you think? Please put everything in the comment box below here, folks. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, or enrich yourself with knowledge. I'm on Twitter at Michael Rich Reviews 2. I'll see you next time, folks. Yes, hooray.